And welcome back to The Factor Uncensored. According to a new report, young black girls are entering puberty much sooner than normal and starting their menstrual cycles while they are still in elementary school. Today I spoke with pediatric endocrinologist Dr. Rinku Mehra. She's pointed out to the reasons why this is happening. Let's take a look.
Why are we seeing these ages lower and lower over the years when it comes to the menstrual cycle, particularly with young black girls?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So, I'm a pediatric endocrinologist, so I see a lot of these girls who come to see me for early puberty. And we have been seeing it more and more over the past couple of years. In fact, the incidence has increased post-pandemic as well. And really what we're thinking is the main reason that girls are going through puberty early, and this has been happening for many, many years, but the main reason that it's been increasing, we think, maybe some genetic factors, there may be some environmental factors involved, but the common culprit that we see in all the research studies is increased weight or increased body mass index. And so, the increased amount of weight that you have can trigger the body to think that you're ready to go into puberty, when in fact you may not be from a chronological age perspective.
And so if the body is tricking the individual, but they may not actually be hitting puberty, right? Or is that...
No, so what happens is they actually do go through puberty. So the typical age for girls to start puberty is 10 with breast development. Then they get a growth spurt around the age of 11, and most girls get their period around 12, okay? And what we call precocious puberty or early puberty is when girls get signs of puberty, meaning breast development, before the age of 8. So there can be girls who start getting, early breast development before the age of 8, and then they end up getting their period at typically around the age of 10. And the reason that we think that happens is certain genetic factors are involved, but obesity also, or increased weight, can play a role.
You also mentioned environment. What could be going on in the environment around them that could also promote this?
Yeah, so there has been some discussion about certain, what we call endocrine disruptors, so things that are in, plastics that we're not aware of, or environmental factors, but there's not any good research studies that show that one particular type of environmental factor plays a role. We do know also that, with regards to the environment, our food triggers also can be there too, which lead to, increased weight. And so the environment that we grow up in also plays a role. When we have some of these girls who also have, limited access to healthier food or healthier food options, or, exercise or activity, that also contributes to increased weight. And those are the environmental factors that we're mainly talking about.
Now, when this study indicated that it could happen as young as 5 years old, is that an extreme rarity?
I would say it probably is a little bit more rare, but we do see it. So the pituitary gland is the area of the brain that triggers puberty. And there are certain, in some instances where girls have developmental delays or pituitary hormone abnormality, brain abnormality, sometimes we can see early puberty triggered earlier in those girls. But we can see, no other, brain issues or problems. And in some girls, we do see early puberty as early as 5 or 6. That can happen.
And for the parents who may not be prepared for this, and I'm sure there will be some parents, and they're like, what the hell do I do? What advice do you have for those parents who may not be expecting a bout with early puberty, or earlier than they went through it when they were young?
Yeah, so I think the most important thing is just to be vigilant with it. And, if you see your child who's having, your daughter especially, who's having breast development before the age of 8, it's important to talk to your pediatrician or a pediatric endocrinologist like myself to have the evaluation, especially if the girl has, some breast development and then has a growth spurt. That's really important to get that evaluated and looked at.